I've known so many people in my life. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get this E46, but I'm gonna LS swap it. Like, just go drive the car.
Grow up.
Go drive the car. But it's it's an impulse. So you can't blame them.
Dude, if we can get drifting in some of the slightest way on Netflix or Hulu,
I think it's getting there.
Documentary.
I think drifting is in one of the coolest eras it's been in. There's so many people that are learning about it, and I don't think it's gonna take long for people to realize that, like, oh, drifting's really cool.
He's like obsessed with these J series.
They're really good.
They sound fucking nuts, honestly.
I think they sound terrible.
Really?
I think they sound awful.
Okay.
But
well, I mean, it's a Honda motor, so they're not gonna sound the best. But for a Honda motor,
it doesn't matter. It's fast and it's fun.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube, presented by Injuku Racing. My name is Dawson, and today we have...
My name is Evan Shanks.
Hell yeah. Most of you probably know him. If you don't, you should go check out his channel. Before we get into the podcast, of course, look below the video. If that subscribe button is still red, go ahead and click that and hit that bell notification while you're at it so you never miss an episode. That's actually all I got for the intro. So if you want to kind of give a introduction on yourself.
Sure, yeah.
Anybody that doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, so my name's Evan. I've been doing YouTube for, actually my channel is 16 years old today.
No way.
Which is wild.
That's
I
ironic.
created it 16, years ago.
Yeah.
I've been making YouTube, I've been doing YouTube technically for 14 years now, I think. So I was in high school, started making videos, and it's a long story how I started, but I just kind of, I always had a huge passion for cars, and along the way, I just figured that it was fun to make videos about it, and here I am. I'm just making videos. Yeah, man.
I'm an influencer. I hate that fucking word.
That's my favorite. Ugh. Yeah, it's always funny to like introduce myself professionally to somebody, and I'm like, how the hell what do I say?
I'm a video creator. Hey, I don't know.
Sir, hi, I'm an Instagrammer, or I'm a YouTuber. Like, there's no serious way to present that to anybody, and it's like it really kind of sucks because like you want to have a professional take on it, but it's like it is what it is, I guess. Maybe as I've just heard it in my head so many times, it sounds ridiculous. Maybe it's not as ridiculous.
No, I think it just sounds ridiculous. Okay,
like, maybe it is just ridiculous. Okay.
That's I refuse. I'm a podcaster, and that still sounds fucking horrible. Anyways, okay, so I guess let's give a quick rundown on your fleet of cars that you have. Like,
sure,
just ramble them off.
Yeah, so too many at the moment, but I'm trying to consolidate. I'll put that out there in the air. But I've recently got really into drifting again. So most of my stuff is like either currently being built for just grassroots stuff, drift, or I have a Pro-Am car. So I've got my BMW, my E46 wagon. Super cool. We just did a VF supercharger on it, so it's pretty fun. Doesn't run right, as a BMW should. We have the 65 Mustang. That's my wife's. It's kind of on the back burner, but we're doing a Barra swap on it. So that'll be cool, but it's a rust bucket, so I got to fix all that first after I fix my other rust buckets.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
How'd you get a rust bucket in Texas?
So I can get into it. They didn't have any undercarriage coating on these cars. On the Mustangs
no way.
in particular. Yeah, it was just straight metal.
Oh, okay, yeah, these
super normal thing. Well, you should go later. You should check out my IS. It's bad. But it came from like Detroit or something. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of current rust bucket, also IS 300 wagon, big wagon guy. I don't know, either sedan or wagon.
Fuck, dude.
If there's an option for either a wagon or a sedan, I'm absolutely gonna get that over the coupe because it's just cool.
Hell yeah.
But IS 300 wagon, so
sedan over coupe.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But we're gonna do I'm doing a built NAT on that one, and it's just gonna be just my fun little daily car, I guess.
Yeah.
Recently just decided, so my S13 behind me, I recently just decided to keep it, and we're gonna do a nuts swap on it, so that'll be fun. When does this podcast go out? Probably a while from now.
It's probably be 6 weeks or so.
Okay, so I'm doing a J35 Honda single turbo J35.
Fuck yeah, dude!
So
what?
Yeah. So speaking of, I have a V6 single turbo Civic in the garage that's on 28.
Yeah.
It's like big slicks. I took it out. I fixed it last night just because I was tired of it. Just like it was like a transmission thing that just wasn't connected, and I was like, I decided to fix it, and I took it out. It's like 10 p.m., woke up the whole neighborhood. But, dude, it is the fastest, the most fun. The power band's amazing, and it's incredible to drive. And I was like, why is this, like this power plant in a drift car would be the most unreasonably ridiculously fun thing ever. So I decided I'm just going to do that as sort of a, just a party fun car. And then
sick.
and then so I also bought the 370 behind us. That was actually Nate's old car, Nate Hamilton's old car. That's going to be my attempt at a Pro-Am. So just really, really simple. Like it's overbuilt, but it's like quality of life overbuilt, not like, too fast, too crazy. So got that car. And then in the garage, I got my R33 sedan, because sedan's better than coupe. I got a Miata that my sister and I built that's a single turbo, and then I got a couple other Civics just out in the middle. Oh, and I got an R34 that's getting painted. But
fuck yeah.
I think I'm going to be honest, I sometimes just forget what I have.
We might be missing a few.
I think that's it. No, I actually think that's it. Which is, yeah.
I want to touch on the J Series because that's fucking sick. I have a buddy that is big on J Series. He's a big Honda guy. And the first time he did a J Series swap was in his EG hatch. And now he's got a right-hand drive, what is it? I think it's an EF sedan that he did a J Series on. And he's like obsessed with these J Series.
They're really good.
They sound fucking nuts, honestly.
I think they sound terrible.
Really?
I think they sound awful.
Okay. But I mean, it's a Honda motor, so they're not going to sound the best. But for a Honda motor, it doesn't matter.
It's fast and it's fun.
True.
Like mine is, so I've done I've been in I've driven K Series cars. I haven't, I've done single cam and stuff, but this is my first V6 from Honda. It's got a little teeny tiny T3 on it and makes 550 on wastegate.
Damn.
It's unreasonably.
That's nuts.
Unreasonably fun. It doesn't even grip in fourth gear with 28s. So it's, I don't know. It's just, it's one of the, I don't know. This car is really, I don't know. It's
one of those cars.
It's going to be wild, yeah. But it's a fun car. I love Honda, and that's kind of like, that was a bit of my roots because like I started in like 2018 or something like that. Before like the eBay turbo trend was a thing, like I was like, I'm gonna buy my first Civic because they're cheap, and I'm gonna buy an eBay turbo because it's cheap. I fell in love with just the Honda stuff because it's insanely cheap, and Honda over-engineers the hell out of everything that they've built.
God, ain't that the truth?
So it's cool. I don't know. It'll be kind of cool to have a Honda motor, and it's not like it's uncommon, but Honda V6 in a drift car would be pretty cool.
Yeah, especially in an S chassis.
I'd be sick.
Who the fuck's ever seen that? Anyways. Okay, so my personal favorite is the E46 wagon.
I'm glad you like it.
That's why I said something about that before the podcast. Car, so I guess give a little bit more in depth on this car. Like what all is it just a simple seat time car? Yeah, so
every car starts out that way, I suppose.
Yeah, of course.
I have the problem of, making something that's super reliable into not that. But it really, the idea is still just a really simple seat time car. Yeah. So I've drifted it several times. But I was having an issue. The fuel pump went bad, like a bunch of stuff. I've done 3 motors on that car, just constant BMW problems.
Yeah.
But the idea was to have something that's like grassroots, seat time-ish, if you will, but like something to take to any event, anytime, anywhere, and not be super overpowered, not like, not a crab walking, not one of them YouTubers with them crab walking cars or anything. It's just one of those fun cars. But these M54s are incredibly slow. Like as much as good as it is to like learn and do stuff with slower cars, it's really slow. Like it's really slow. So it was so slow, I had to clutch kick so much that I was breaking like rear end components constantly. So, and I don't know if it's because it's a wagon, it's a little heavier, but like even
that was literally my next question is how to because it seems like you really have to sling the shit out of it whenever you transition and stuff. So does the wagon really make a difference in the way it drives?
I think it's just heavier because like it feels, so the coupe that we just, the giveaway's over, but the coupe we gave away, I took that and I had a whole weekend of drifting that and it felt pretty similar. And it was just on like knuckle adapters. It didn't have any like angle really. Right. But it felt similar, like the power. It just felt like it was a little more powerful just because I think it was probably just not as fat and heavy. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's honestly, I don't know. Me personally, I love long wheelbase cars, like just longer-ish cars because I feel like they float. It's fun, but it's not a hard car to drive. It's actually pretty damn easy. It's not like an S13.
Yeah.
But it's easy.
They look so unique just because the rear is so fucking bubbly.
It's big.
It just looks like a big old boat flying around.
She thick. I love it, dude. It's unique. I've always just been in love with like the less desirable option. If there's, you know, I suppose say less desirable, but you know, like my STI that I had back in the day, everybody was like, why don't you just have the sedan? You know, it's like, because I don't want to, dude. But
it's the move, bro.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to get into a BMW, I might as well do it in a wagon or something, that, you know, something that stands out that's cool. Yeah. Which is cool, though. Anytime I'm in a drift event, they're like, dude, it's so sick to seeing you. You're drifting a wagon. It's so cool. It just makes me happy. Honestly, it really, like, I love it. It makes me glow. Yeah.
What do you think about like Dylan Hughes' wagon car that he has with the diesel motor and everything in it?
I was like, wait, dude, that car's nuts. I don't understand. I honestly don't.
It looks very underpowered for the cars that he keeps going up against with that car.
Yeah, but I don't. Maybe I just don't understand enough about diesel. But it blows my mind that people are using. I know they have crazy torque, but it's like, I don't get it. But it's so sick. I think it's like a Mercedes inline six or something like that.
I don't truthfully know anything about it, but
it's pretty sick.
I watched the backy comp that they did, which was atrocious. That was a terrible backy comp. But anyway, that's besides the fact. And that was the only car that I could pay attention to the entire time. It just looks cool. So fucking sick.
It's just,
and you got the just rolling coal out of the hood. Yeah. Like that's not normal to see.
There's like a guy in Europe that's got like a Mercedes. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a Mercedes wagon. Same deal. It's like smokestack out the hood. It's unbelievably cool. But the wagons are sick, dude.
Hell yeah. What didn't you have Astros on those? The Kansei Astros?
No, so they were the Heritage. They're similar. They were like the Blitz 03, you know, replica cast option. Right. But yeah, so I had those in the interim because I always knew I wanted to do the wider body. I don't know. I'm very picky about how my cars look. It might take me a really long time to finish them and make them look how I want them to, but I always knew I was going to do the wider body on it. Yeah. Which I have the fenders and stuff now, and I was going to do the work wheels. But yeah, I did have the Heritage on them at first.
Hell yeah. I see, like, I've got the Kansei Neos on my car, and that's one car that I really want to see them on. The Chrome Neos. I think the flat face of them would look really good on this type of car. I'm not big on skinny spoke type wheels. That just...
Really?
Yeah.
You hating on my Works over there?
No.
You hating on them?
Works are great. But I don't know. It's just like, because I don't have any fancy brakes or anything on my car, and I hate when people make... Like,
that's fair.
If people do like a really skinny 4 or 5-spoke wheel,
and you got these little dinky little brakes,
tiny, it's just like, dude, cover those up.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. Some of my cars have the teeny brakes, and
that's all I really had on that. But okay, so I guess what made you choose these wheels then? Why did you want to go with these?
So
versus the Heritage.
Well, so bunch of reasons, I guess, but I remember seeing these wheels. So again, I have my 08 hatch STI Subaru. Right. I've had it. That was my car I had in high school. You know, sold it, bought it back, whatever. But I remember when I was in high school, I saw another STI hatch with those wheels. They were called the XD9s back then. I don't know why they changed the name of them, but I loved them. It was like a white on white car, SEMA build. You know, it was really great. It was cool for 2012, whenever it was, and just loved the wheels, but I never really had a car that I wanted them on until I like saw this one. I was like, dude, I don't know. For some reason, I just thought like, dude, this is a big body car. I think it needs these wheels.
That's so.
I don't know. I didn't really have a particular rhyme or reason for them. I mean, they look really good with the gram lights that I have too, but I was like, I really want to have these polished.
Did you buy those new?
Yeah.
Are they brand new? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
How much do those cost now?
Dude, they're just as much new as people resale them for. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild. People don't want you to know that, but
y'all are scams.
It's crazy. Dude, it's funny. I'll be browsing Marketplace and it's like, bro, like curb rashed, T7Rs or something. I'm like,
with horrible specs. And
it's like, bro, you selling some 18x9 plus 57s, and I could get some brand new wheels for the same price. Yeah. But yeah, no, they're new.
Fucking Mustang fitment and shit. Gross. Oh, all right. So I guess we'll jump off of all the cars and stuff.
Sure.
Tell me about before YouTube, before cars, before all of this. What were you kind of doing? What was your hobbies like?
That's crazy. I mean,
life?
I don't think I've ever really done anything aside from cars. So I have hobbies outside of cars for sure. Mm-hmm. So I went to, I was a YouTuber this whole time of doing all this, but I started in high school, whatever. I went to college, graduated. Funny enough, I have a degree in finance, a bachelor's in finance.
Oh shit!
Didn't do anything with it. Well, technically, I mean, I say I don't do whatever, but
you use it in your own business.
Yeah.
Now,
so I got a degree in finance, and then I just decided I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do the YouTube thing. Long story short, and but yeah, before that, I pretty much just did I did some music. I played guitar a bunch.
Sick.
A lot of video games. I'm a big nerd, and love me some Star Wars. Got a RuneScape. I got a RuneScape tattoo somewhere. I don't know if you know what RuneScape is, but
I've heard of it.
Grew up playing that, so
I hate video games personally. Like, they do nothing but give me anger issues, and like I waste money on it.
It's my crack, man. It's my relaxation. So
yeah,
but that, and then pretty much just guitars, cars, guns. That's it. Yeah.
Damn.
My whole life is cars. So yeah.
So where did the inspiration for cars come from then? Was it like family background? Or?
No, not necessarily. So I grew up, I raced dirt bikes for a long time.
Okay.
And that didn't necessarily like make me like cars, but I was always around engines and this and that. And my dad always had toys that were, he was tinkering with in the garage, but he built like golf carts, ATVs, and really like, motorized scooters that had coilover suspension that you could go jump. So we had that kind of stuff, but I grew up playing, Need for Speed Underground. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 30. So, I was right peak of the Underground 1 and 2, and dude, I just loved it. Like everything about that, the scene of Underground and the customization. I fell in love. I remember the first time I saw the Supra in a game. I was I was like, 10 years old or something, maybe even younger. I was like, this is my favorite car of all time. And honestly, I to this day, I pretty much attribute loving cars as much as I do to Underground. And some of the Fast and Furious movies, even though I wasn't allowed to watch those till later, because
no shit. Why?
I just protective parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm a loser, dude. I'm so lame, dude.
Well, honestly, I feel like a lot of those people that are held back when they're kids are the ones that tend to either
have autism.
That's one. Dude, no, honestly, everyone's got a touch of autism. I don't fucking care.
I know. But I say it all the time. I try to be like careful because people are really sensitive about it. But like, look at how much I've done to this car in a week and tell me I don't got a little bit of autism. There's no way. There's not a shot.
You can see it all over the shop, dude. Yeah. What do you mean?
Like it's autism everywhere, bro.
Yeah. But no. So I guess those types of people though that have the more secured parents and kind of like protective, they either go down two paths. It's either very successful or straight up drug addict.
Yeah,
because they don't know the median.
That's fair.
Ground.
Yeah,
that's I correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe one of you
I don't
shines
disagree.
through the light, bro.
Honestly, I don't. There's probably definitely some middle ground, but that's fair. That's fair.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I guess whenever you started really kind of finding a taste for cars, what did you already have a car at this time? Were you already driving or?
So no, I mean, I got into cars obviously when I was way too young to drive, but when I was 16, my first car was my mom made my dad. So my dad was like, he was at it. He bought my first car. I know some people hate that, but he bought my first car for me.
Mine was a hand-me-down.
So I got a Scion XB.
Okay. Toaster?
The toaster. It was the toaster. It was
Dude,
silver.
I'm not gonna lie. Those bitches are damn near bulletproof.
Yeah.
I know one.
Well, that's why my mom was like, dude,
over 300 plus.
Yeah. My mom was like, the crash ratings are amazing on this. So it's like, all right, you got to take this. And it was auto. I hated it. I loved it, but I hated it. Yeah. And so I kind of used that as a little bit of an avenue for like, testing out, kind of like dipping my toes. But then it was like, at some point I was like, what the hell do I have an XP for? And so I got this really great idea to buy a TC So I stayed in the
Ooh.
Scion world, and that's actually when I started. Funny enough, that's the car I started making YouTube content with, which was not much content at all. But
Right.
yeah, it kind of just went from there. And then TC, then I got the STI, and then graduated college, and then eventually this happened.
Well, let me ask you this, because I've been asking this recently to a bunch of people. The first TC, we'll go with the TC because the XB is kind of just like fuck all.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
So the TC, everyone does like their own first mods when they get their first car. You know, you're all excited. Do you have any that were like kind of borderline embarrassing that you did to that car?
Man, I tell you what, Plasti Dip was the thing. It was new. Okay, so it was a new technology. It was cutting edge, and so you know, nobody knew how to use it, and I had to figure it out. You know, somebody did.
Someone's got to do the job.
Some of my first YouTube videos were like how to apply it and stuff like that. So it was, I mean, this is like, I think Dip Your Car had just like, he just started business or something. It was like,
no way,
dude. So I had like I had like a Plasti Dip grill. I ended up taking it off because I was like, this is ugly. But you know, I had the
all
itch.
matte colors and shit.
I had the itch and tried to make it clean, and then at some point I was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
So that was the not good. That was the not good.
Mine was hydro dipping, which is
basically
the same shit. But
I never did that. I had some friends that did that. Yeah.
It's cool. Like if you want to do like an engine cover, or like you want to hydro dip your wheels or something, like that's kind of cool. But my dumb ass, I've told this story a couple times, but I won't go in full detail. I just did the trim pieces in my Sentra SER Spec V, which was like the cool Sentra.
Oh, that's the good Sentra.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Those are sick.
It was fun, but that car didn't last for shit. It had a blown head gasket whenever it was handed down to me, and then I took it into the auto shop class that I was in. Placed the head gasket like a dumbass. I didn't replace the timing chain. The next week, it blew up on me. Or actually blew up on my parents while they were driving to one of my scrimmage baseball games.
Well, that's their fault then.
Yeah,
you know, then they got to
blame it all on them.
You know?
Yeah, well, they helped me get the next car.
There you go.
I had a family member, and they convinced them to sell it to me cheap. And
there you go, man.
It was like, sweet.
Hell yeah,
shout out
dude.
Mom and Dad. Okay, so you said the TC was what kind of started the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what was your first video? Let's go there.
Well, so I mean, okay. The reason why I've been saying "so okay" a lot, and I don't know why.
You're
so
good.
I mean,
I do it too.
Okay. My filler words are usually better than this, but for some reason my mind is hooked on that tonight. I had started making videos like before the TC because there was no automotive content out there. It was like, you know, exhaust videos of like, you know, here's my Tiburon flyby, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's no personality to it at all. And so I was like, you know, I want to make videos that I would want to watch if I, you know, blah, 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 was searching the internet. And so I did a couple with like my XB with like some exhaust clips. I had an exhaust on my Auto XB. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I had an exhaust. So I made some videos with that, but
Take notes, boys.
way before vlogging was even an idea or a thing. So I had a GoPro.
Okay.
So I used to snowboard, ski, skate, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, dude, I bought the suction cup from Best Buy. I had a bunch of money that week. I was like, $40, let's go blow it. And I was like, you know what? Driving to school this morning, I'm gonna put it on the roof, and I'm gonna just film myself driving to school and talk. And so that is literally how it started, kind of begun.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So were you kind of like obsessed with YouTube? Were you one of those guys that just constantly watched it? No?
Not at all.
That's surprising.
No, I still don't watch YouTube. It's really wild.
Damn.
It's really weird. I've never.
Then how did that,
I don't know.
I hate myself a lot for not paying attention to Rob Dyrdek and what he was doing. That was vlogging before vlogging was a thing.
For sure.
So like where did the inspiration actually come from then to actually shoot videos?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know. I think most of the inspiration, maybe that, yeah. No, I think most of the inspiration probably just came from feedback. You know, knowing that I'm doing a thing that people are enjoying, that was enough for me to be like, yeah, let's keep going. Sure.
Okay.
So that was kind of it.
when did you start getting feedback from?
It was the first video. I mean, it was
No
like,
way.
I mean, he's 100, you know, 100 or 200 people watching or whatever, you know, not a lot of views at all. And this is way before, I mean, this is before a lot of people were even on the platform at all. So even 500 people watching a video was like unbelievable. Even like Smosh was getting like 100, 200,000 videos.
I wonder how many people were actually on YouTube at that time.
Not a lot, I don't think.
Yeah,
but I mean, it probably, I don't know. I say that I don't want to, but, yeah, no, it was just, you know, just the nice comments of people saying like, you know, this is cool, this is unique, keep doing this. You know, you have some goofy things to say sometimes. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So every now and then, I mean, it was like once a week maybe. I'd film just my drive to school or something, and I just update or I just talk about, just like I do all the time, just talk about absolute nonsense. And that's kind of how it started. It was just, and it went from there, and then
no plan, no nothing, just winging it all the way.
No, I just liked it. I mean, I grew up acting, and so I don't know. I like being in front of people, and I like talking to, you know. I have a lot to say.
How'd you grow up acting?
I just grew up acting. Yeah, I just was a stage actor.
No shit.
Really cringe. Yeah, not like I don't know how. Something.
Hey, bro,
something.
I was in drama class 2 years in a row, brother. I love that shit.
It was
fun.
It was fun.
I'm very introverted, so like pushing myself to do stuff like that is very like.
I was
word,
extroverted,
but
I don't know what happened. Something along the line just. I'm a loser now, right? Just stay at home, man. But yeah, no, I mean, I like being in front. I don't mind being in front of people. I always liked, you know, just having an audience. It sounds bad maybe, but like I liked having an audience to talk to and get feedback from, and like a little community, if you will. So,
I don't think it sounds bad. I wish I could be like that. That's one of the reasons I started this was kind of putting myself in one of those situations where I had to force myself to do it. Yeah,
that's the best way to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now it helps tremendously in business aspect stuff, but that's besides the fact. Okay, so I guess when did your first real video pop off, and what was it about?
It was how to drive manual.
No way.
Yeah, and it was all because I hated my auto so much that that's the reason why I got the TC. I was like, Dad, I don't care what you say. I'm gonna go trade this bitch in. I'm gonna go get something that's manual. And so he's like, okay, well, it has to be Scion because we know the dealership, and they'll give us a deal. They'll give you a deal. It's like, okay, whatever. And so because of that, I had to teach myself how to drive. I literally drove off the lot with never having driven manual before. And it was weird. Like I shouldn't have done that, but in hindsight, it worked. So
ballsy.
Yeah, but I just had this this beautiful calling to make a how to drive manual video back in the day. And because there was really, I mean, there was no, you know, Casey Neistat. There was no vlogging at all. It was mostly just how to, or really short, crappy videos on a cell phone or something, you know? So I was like, let's make a how to.
Yeah.
And because I taught myself how to drive manual, whatever, I've learned.
It was quite literally landscape TikTok before. Because it's just shitty short videos.
But way worse editing and not much entertaining about it. But
that's so true, dude.
But yeah, the first stuff that started popping up was my how to. And then as I was like teaching myself and analyzing how things worked with driving, I would make more content. I made like a how to downshift, how to rev match, that sort of thing. Really silly stuff that like, you know, anybody, but back in the day, this was a big deal because there was not information about this. So it was cool. It was really cool. And so it worked out for me. But yeah, I mean, nowadays you play Forza and it'll teach you how to rev match. Like,
dude,
hop on the sim for 2 minutes and it's like,
I was looking at your sim earlier and I was like, holy fuck, that thing's absurd.
I love it, dude.
I don't know a fucking thing about sim rigs. Like,
I love it.
I know that they're very handy and they help tremendously, but like if you asked me what to go buy right now, I wouldn't have the first fucking clue. Like obviously I know Fanatec, but that's just like the most well known. So I know there's probably way better systems.
That's the gaming nerd inside of me. It just worked out, man.
Yeah.
You gotta nerd out a little bit and figure it out, you know?
I'll nerd out on computers.
Yeah, well, that's what it.
Sort of. But
I get kind of lost in the matrix with all the, I mean, there's so many different sims out. Like there's a billion companies. Yeah. There's obviously like the bigger ones that people prefer, but I have one that's not even, you know, I just bought it used from a friend because it was a good deal, but it's a direct drive and it's fantastic for me now. But I couldn't tell you half the brands out there or anything about them. So
I know I've been told Moza just because it's like the cheapest quality that you can get. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But still, it's just one of those things
go give it a test
that like, yeah, I don't mind. We can do that afterwards.
It's pretty sick.
It's one of those things that I'll use for a couple weeks and I'll realize I don't have time for it and it'll just sit there and I'll hate myself for having it. The only way I could do it is if I incorporated it into the podcast somehow, like making the guest do a lap or something at the end of the podcast.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, no, it's a lot, and they take up a lot of space.
Yeah, so I definitely don't have space for it right now.
I have a lot of friends that are like, dude, I'd love to get one, but it's like only so much room in mom's basement, you know. So it's like I can't.
Ain't that the fucking truth? Okay, so I guess whenever you did start your YouTube channel, is there anything that you wish you would have known, I guess, that you know now back then to really
I don't know.
help?
I don't like to play the game of like what ifs because I think everything just kind of happens and falls in place how it's supposed to. But like, you know, it would have been nice to know. I feel like if I could go back and tell myself anything, it'd be like, just believe in yourself and try it. Because I mean, because it was not a tangible, it was not a real thing to be a YouTuber to make money. Like I'd love to go back and tell myself like, hey, don't listen to your parents here in this one scenario. Guys should probably listen to your parents. But you know, there was most of my family, my wife's family and my family, my friend's family, like everybody thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And so, it's fair. I probably would say the same thing if I was in their shoes, but yeah, I think that's the only thing. If I would have taken it a little more seriously, who knows where I'd be? But you know, I am where I am, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I beat myself up every day for waiting so long to get into just shooting videos. Because like anyone that comes and asks me, like, what did you do to start? Like, how should I start? And I'm like, just press fucking record.
Yeah,
like that's the hardest part of doing content is pressing record for the first time.
Well, yes, I mean it's the same idea in any business scenario. It's like, go get the grant, you know, or go sign the LLC papers or something. You know, you just got to start. You got to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's never a too late.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
There's never a too late, and so don't beat yourself up about that. You're killing it.
No, I know, dude. It's so hard to not live in the past sometimes.
Yeah, believe me, I know. I know about that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess what was the very first like official build, like the full-on build that you started doing on the channel?
So I would, my STI.
Okay.
Yeah. So the red cart, which I currently own, I got it in high school. It was a wild story about how I got it, but I was working at the time. Actually, I'll spare you the details. But anyways, I got a 08 STI, and I started driving as my daily. I drive it to work, drive it to school, obviously, you know, do some fun stuff, go to Cars and Coffee and that kind of thing. And ended up blowing up on me. Mm-hmm. Shocker, as Subarus do. Ooh. And the shop, funny enough, the shop that it's currently at right now is the shop that built the engine originally, which it's still pumping. It's good. It's like 10 years ago, I think they built the motor and it's still killing it. So shout out all-wheel drive tuning.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, Keith and Mary are amazing. They're so good. But that was my first build for sure, because I actually had to have the motor built. And it was always funny though, because like it was a build, or the motor was built, but I couldn't afford a fuel system. I couldn't afford a bigger turbo. So like it was a fully built car that made like 280 wheel horsepower on a Mustang dyno. So that's
why it's lasted so long. I see.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, in college I saved up enough money. I bought a Miata. So it was my first project. I would say the Miata that I bought was really my first project, because I was like, honestly, I was so traumatized by how much it costed me to rebuild the Subaru. I didn't want to touch it ever again. I didn't even want to do my own oil changes for a long time, because I was like, dude, I don't want to mess nothing up. And so I was like, let's get a Miata, because back in, when did I buy it? 2015 or 2014, 2015. They were cheap. I bought mine for $1,500.
Super cheap. Yeah.
Mint condition. $1,500. Crazy to think about that. I even lowballed the guy, dude. He was asking like $2,000, and I was like, "Do you want to take $1,200?" And he's like, "I'll do $15." I was like, "Oh, that's too much money for a Miata." unbelievable. I bought this Miata that I have in the garage. I bought for $4,000 from Copart. Copart.
No way.
$4,000 from Copart, and you can't. Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
DFW is bad about Miatas because there's so much racing around here, so they're expensive. But
yeah.
Anyways, first project was a Miata, I think.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So how in depth did that project go? Was it really just?
I was real into, so because I grew up racing, I always wanted to do actual, car racing. And so I wanted to get into HPD. And so it was the first, I had actually, right after I bought it, that's when I had met Adam LZ and Taylor Ray for the first time. Taylor Ray was still working at BC Racing. And so he helped me spec out some coilovers with like extended top hats and stuff to like make it, a really capable car. And so I used it for autocross, a few track days with what I could afford because going to the track's expensive. It got pretty, the engine was stock. I kept it completely stock. It was just suspension, roll bar, steering wheel, race seats, that sort of thing, just to make it safe and fun. It was capable, cool car. Had a hard top. It was sick, but slow as hell. Slow as
hard
ever.
tops on a Miata, fucks.
I love it, dude.
At the time, did you have any sponsorship type support on any of that?
No, dude. So it's wild. I don't know what changed and when, but sponsoring an influencer back then was unheard of. People hated it. People didn't do it. They just didn't do it.
Like, who the fuck you think you are?
Literally. I mean, it's like even at SEMA, I remember going before this year, the last time I went to SEMA was like 2019, I think. And like, I remember shaking hands with some big company or any companies, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're a YouTuber? Nah, we want people to go to car meets and have their cars in magazines and stuff." So it wasn't a thing. So I spent my days, emailing as much as I could to try and get some discounts on stuff. But yeah, there was no sponsors. Crazy. Just like, but it's something like the switch kind of flipped. And I think people just realized how much money could be made on social media by using influencers. And so I think people finally started reaching out.
I think I don't remember when YouTube started rolling out their own ads. But I think that may have been a big tipping point for a lot of major companies because they were seeing that, okay, well, if they're advertising their own stuff or someone else's stuff in between all of these videos, why can't the influencer just do it themselves? Yeah. And then you cut out the middleman, go straight to the source, blah, blah, blah. So I think that may have been one of the bigger tipping points for sponsorships to influencers. But, dude, like, I've never been to SEMA yet still, which is bad on my part, I know. But I plan on
get some really nice shoes that not like J's. I'm not talking about ones. I'm talking about like something that's comfortable. So much walking.
Yeah. No. I went to PRI this year and got like a mini taste of it. So yeah, I wore slip-on Vans the entire time.
I did my first year too, and it was the worst. It was the worst. I've made that mistake. That's why I say that, because my first time was I literally had slip-on white Vans the whole week, and I was like, I need Dr. Scholl's. Yeah. Right.
Yep. And I was so scatterbrained too. Like I was fucking just running all around the place instead of doing it properly, going down each aisle, just talking to people as you go.
You'll do the same at SEMA, dude. It's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you'll think
ADHD brain just goes all over the place.
Don't even get me started, man. But no, it's like you'll try to do like the H pattern thing. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go, and then you're like, oh, this company, boop, 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 and it's beeline, and then it's like, oh, this,
forget where you are,
and you're like, I don't even know where I've been. And there's also 32 other halls that I haven't seen yet, so it seems crazy. Yeah, I would recommend going. It's fun.
Oh, I definitely will this year, somehow, some way, somehow. But yeah, it is crazy to see that. Although I was never around SEMA back then, the heavy focus that people or companies have on influencers now is just completely outweighs.
I mean, honestly, in the past 5 years, it's changed a bunch.
Yeah.
A bunch.
We need to start getting on Netflix and shit now. That's the next step.
I'm telling you what, dude. Hey. Get me out of here, man.
Dude, I'll tell you what, dude, if we can get drifting in some of the slightest way on Netflix or Hulu,
I think it's getting there. I think drifting is in one of the coolest eras it's been in right now, and that might be a hot take, but I think that there's so much, like the exposure, it might seem like it's like getting too popular for some people that were into the grassroots stuff a long time ago, but there's so many people that are learning about it, and I don't think it's going to take long for people to realize that oh, drifting's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's in a cool spot.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll ever get to the point here of being as big as NASCAR, though. I still don't know if it'll ever outweigh NASCAR.
Unless Bubba in his mayonnaise car starts driving it. I don't know about that. I don't know, man.
Oh, Bubba.
Bring FD back to Texas Motor Speedway. Maybe we can make it work. But dude, I was so mad I was so upset when they ditched that.
I guess back on the YouTube stuff a little bit more. You see a lot of, like we mentioned, TJ Hunt before the podcast. That was one of my first YouTubers I noticed. But it seems like the repetitive thing for YouTubers is to kind of do this more rinse and repeat cycle of builds. Is that just kind of like the natural thing that works for YouTubers? It's kind of hard not to.
I think that's kind of what it evolved to, because like what else do you do with cars? You know, it's like you can build them or you can drive them, and there's only so many, you know, unique prank type things you can do with them. So I don't know, it's hard to say, but I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen a bunch of, you know, people with lots of builds come and go, and it's like, I just think there's a finite amount of things you can do with a car, and it's either you build it or you drive it or both. And I mean, but I think also it's people just have a low attention span. You can have the coolest build in the world, and if you haven't, you know, changed it or done something even better than you did last month, then it's like people just lose interest. And so it's like, okay, well, here's I was guilty of that for a while, because I'd just be like, oh, okay, well, I see like, you know, views like trickle off, and I'd be like, okay, well, it's time for a new car. And then it's like, you know, same deal. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm halfway done with this build, but it's like, okay, let's get a new car because people don't want to watch this one anymore. So it's like, the rinse repeat thing is, I think it's just like the natural way that it falls. But yeah, I wish there was I think about that often. I'm like, how do you revolutionize this? But it's like, aside from, you know, buying your own compound or your own racetrack, it's like, what do you do in the automotive space? You just got to have a really, either a really unique car, or just unique enough personality to make your cars, you know, worth watching, and you know, the build process worth doing or watching. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's odd. It's like a very apparent, you know, it's a very apparent thing. And yeah, I hate that that's how it is, but it's just how it is.
And I do media for a living. So I tell all of my clients, and like, don't focus on your driving. I know that's like what you find the most interesting, but other people don't. Yeah. Nobody cares to watch you drive. So if you're in the shop tinkering with shit, that's more or less what they want to see, which sucks, because as a drifter, all you want to do is be in the car, but then you're stuck doing your job in the shop, and it's like, how do you find that balance? But I guess from a viewer's perspective, whenever you are going through the rinse and repeat cycle of whether you finish the build or not, it doesn't matter. How do you think that gets portrayed to the audience? Because I know YouTubers technically don't make much money. Like,
no, I spend all of my money on cars.
Exactly.
It's either goes to the house and the shop or cars.
Yeah. So it looks like,
sorry, Gabby and Julianne, your college fund is not existent yet.
College is a scam anyways. But no, like the spectator, it kind of seems, because I was that person. I was obsessed with YouTube. So I always was studying it and just watching all of you guys. And it really does seem like with the rinse and repeat cycle, you're just blowing so much money and so much money. And it almost gives you this rich aspect from a viewer standpoint. How have you ever been able to like distinguish that to the viewer, to where it's like,
I try and be transparent. It looks this way, but I try and be transparent as much as I can, but I think in people's eyes, material possessions means wealth, means rich, which in turn, like, it does add to your wealth or whatever. But it's like,
it's not liquid though. It's the problem.
It's not as much as you'd think. You know, it's like, I can't, how many people in the world want to buy my bagged, fully built R33 sedan that I've put $80,000 into?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it'll probably get lowballed for $30K on Marketplace on a good day. So it's like, but yeah, no, it's tough, because like, I think people, especially for me in particular, it's kind of tough because I've just been doing it for such a long time. I think people just assume like, I'm rich. It's like, he doesn't need my support anymore. He doesn't, whatever. Like he's got it. When you look at my shop and you're like, oh, he's got it made. It's like, well, I mean, no, I mean, I just put all my money in, you know, reinvest just like any business would. But yeah, it's like, I try to be transparent about it, but it's like, there's also a really thin line between being transparent and like sounding whiny. So it's tough. It's tough. So you got to kind of, some days you just got to suck it up. And if people have the wrong idea about you, then that's just how it is.
It's just the way they're going to portray it. Yeah, you're never going to be able to satisfy everyone.
Yeah.
But okay, so how are you able to find the funds to continue to rinse and repeat on cars? I mean, obviously sponsorship stuff like that helps tremendously, but are you always selling a car to help fund the next one, or like what, like how does that process work?
Yeah, it honestly just depends. Like I try and be really good about budgeting before I do any sort of build. I thought I had a budget for my E46, but that multiplied by like 5. But no, I like typically, I mean, I don't know. I try and not have to use cars to float stuff, but it's like, it just depends on the month. It depends on, honestly, it depends on the economy. I mean, it just depends on everything going on. So, I mean, there's been times where I've been able to keep all of my cars and just buy a bunch of new ones. And then there's times where I'm like, well, like right now, I'm like, well, I really want to pour a bunch of money into, you know, the cars that I want to run, and I don't necessarily want the cars that I'm not going to have a use for. So it's like, well, I'd rather, you know, reinvest the money. They're like, I don't know if you had seen it, but I had a wide body AMG. I don't know if you had seen it, but the
I've
AMG
seen
GT.
it. Yeah, I didn't.
And I was like,
seen much
dude,
content on it, but
there was nothing to do with that car. It was just like, why? And so I sold that car, but I was able to reinvest in. That's partially what the 370 is. It's like all the money I made from that. It's like, well, let's put it into a car that I actually am going to want to drive. That's going to be valuable to me in some sense. Cause I'd literally like, I drive the AMG like once a week to the store. I wasn't going to track it because I could buy a Miata for how much the brakes cost to replace on those cars.
Oh,
so it's like,
yeah.
yeah. So
that stuff people definitely don't think about.
But anyways, to answer your question, it depends. Like right now I'm, you know, I'm selling a couple cars. I'm just also just like tired of being so overwhelmed with how many projects I have going on. I'm trying to focus more on like really zoom in, if you will, on the cars that I really want to dial in and stuff. And then just, if I'm not going to drive the other stuff, just get rid of it.
Is there one car you've ever had to get rid of that like still to this day hurts your soul way too much?
Not necessarily. I don't know. I don't get too attached.
I have bad attachments with cars.
I don't know. It's to me they're just still just like, you know, they're pieces of plastic and metal and you know, whatever. Right. But you know, there's cars that I have gotten rid of that I'm like, oh man, I could have done something different or better with it or stuff, but not necessarily. I do miss my so one of our first giveaways we did was my R35, and that was a fun car. It's just like they're as overrated as they are, dude. They're so much fun. Yeah. They're really stupid fun. Just for dailies. Like, you're literally faster than 90% of the people on the road. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I miss that car, but, you know, it was just one of those things I had to move on from to continue to progress. So, no, I didn't. And if I did have an attachment issue with it, I would buy it back, which was my STI. So I bought it back. So,
you mentioned the giveaways. I've always wondered how that even works as far as giving a car away. Like, I assume you hire an agency to handle it, right?
No. So we actually just this was our last giveaway we did. We actually just stopped doing them. But yeah, so we would hire a lawyer. You know, you have to have a contract. It's very like it's gambling. So you have to abide by gambling laws in every single state. And so a lot of times you'll see like giveaways don't include Florida and New York. It's because you have to be bonded in that state, X amount of dollars, X amount of days before you even start the giveaway. And so it's like, oh, well, screw you, Florida and New York. Like it's difficult to set up and it's expensive. I mean, like it's about $5,000 in lawyer fees and stuff like that just to like set it up initially. And so it's an interesting market, but it's kind of sad. It's, I don't know. I don't want to sound bad, but it's kind of like taking advantage of people with like gambling problems, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's kind of
rough.
Seems like, and I've always been one that's like, I've won a giveaway with the GS Drift giveaways. You ever seen those on Facebook? So I won one that was parts at dealer's cost for an entire year. It was their New Year's Eve one, which was cool. But like, I mean, the discounts aren't that.
You still got to pay for it.
Crazy.
So.
Yeah, like it's like I get $20 off of a $300 part like that. All right, whatever. Yeah, I'll take it, I guess. But which the GS guys, y'all are awesome. Nothing against y'all. But I've always found it so odd how people do the giveaways, because technically, like, they're illegal to do giveaways per se, unless
there's just a lot of loopholes.
Yeah.
But no, that's kind of why we stopped doing them, because it's like it's not a shady business, and I don't want to sound bad about that, but it is weird how many. You got to think at some point, like, if you got to jump through so many loopholes to make something viable, it's kind of weird.
There's no way
it's kind
it
of
sits
weird.
right with your soul.
And the fact that I just felt, I honestly, like, it took me a while to realize, like, you know, like the whole like gambling type thing, because we obviously did a few of them, and I don't know, it kind of like laid on my heart the last giveaway we're done. I was like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. But anyways, like, you got to think, how does 80/80 stay alive? You know, not because of goodwill. It's not because they're, you know, it's like, how does a company that gives away multiple Lamborghinis a day, or whatever they do now, but like,
it's absurd.
How are they a multi-million-dollar company with, you know, 10, 20, whatever, however many employees they have? It's like, it's crazy.
I mean, even down to like LZ. I mean, he's doing giveaway after giveaway. I don't physically see how the money is made unless you're just busting out a fuck ton of merch.
I think that, I mean, it's hard because, like, I don't want it to sound bad, because, like, it's a good way to get people in your merch and your stuff. Yeah. You know, it's a good way to get, you know, to boost some sales. But yeah, it's just, it's risky for sure, especially nowadays, because, like, the market is so oversaturated, and, like, it's like there's a new giveaway company every day. Yeah. It seems like on Facebook, I'll be on Facebook and it's like, blank, 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 something. It's like, win this R34 GTR. I'm like, well, you guys, I didn't even hear about you guys until right now. How do you have a $300,000 car you're giving away? So it's wild. It's nuts. And obviously it's a market. People are making money, so it is what it is, you know. But it was weird for us particularly, because our brand is more about, like, you know, spreading. We donate to, like, mental health facilities and, you know, nonprofits and stuff. So it was weird to, like, I was thinking about that. I was like, it's just kind of weird to be, like, supporting mental health, but also maybe potentially in some light
giving into it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't want that to even be a trace of what we were doing. So it's like, I can't do that anymore. So
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't mean that to be dark or anything. I'm not hating on anybody doing it, man. If you're making money, somebody's gonna do it. And if you know,
because, like, I've contemplated doing it myself, which obviously not right now. I don't have nearly the fucking funds to do some shit like that. But, like, I have a very broad new beginner drifter type audience, and I thought it would be cool to do, like, just simple seat time car giveaways, like, I would more or less just to push the brand, not necessarily make money, but it's like that would just cause me more headache than I would be gaining as far as viewership and stuff anyways.
That's kind of what we did with this last 332. I was like, you know, if anything, like, I want to give the car away that's going to not cost you $6,000 to $20,000 in taxes just because you win the car. Like, pay a little bit, go drift the car every weekend. Like, go have fun with it. So.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, we can jump off that. We ain't got to keep going down that road. So with all of the builds that you have taken on over the years, is there one that you wish you would have finished, although it looks like the views were dying on it?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah. Man, I don't know, because that's a tough question to answer, but I would say that, like, because my interests and because I have changed so much over the years, I don't think that completing them in the past would have done anything better for me now.
No, not necessarily that. Just, like, for your own personal
self.
No,
so I have this Barn Find Evo that's still not completed, and it's currently at a shop, and I'm still gonna complete it, I think. At some point, but the shop that it's at, like, they ghosted me and it sits outside, and so, but it's like an hour and a half from here, and I don't have a winch anymore, so I can't go get it. So it's like kind of a weird situation. But
hopefully it's still there.
It's right. No, the shop owner is a good guy at heart, but, like, he won't build a car. But I think that's the car that I kind of wish I would have, or at least could have finished. But I put too much. To some extent, useless effort into some other cars, and I just wish I would have just, like, kind of dialed that in and just finished it, but I didn't. So
close. Along the lines of the unfinished builds and stuff like that, what would you say is probably the most misconcepted thing about this style of career and building cars and just What do people not see? What doesn't get the spotlight from any YouTuber?
That's tough. I mean, the cars are just cars. So, I mean, there's not really anything to hide about that. I think, are you specifically asking like about the cars themselves or just about?
No, like the career-based stuff. So being a YouTuber, building cars, like that type of YouTuber.
Yeah, sure. I think what you had touched on earlier, it's like, I think that there's a really common misconception that like all of us that do the car stuff have unlimited money and unlimited funds and stuff. And it's a discouraging thing at times because it's like, I would love to have, unlimited money, unlimited funds, to make, enjoyable content for you all. But the truth is it's just not a thing. But yeah, I think that's kind of there's not much, I'm not going to complain. It's a fantastic job and I love building cars. So it works out. But I will say like, that's like the one, I think that people, regardless of views, subscribers, whatever, I think people hold everybody to the same pedestal. It's like, well, Evan, if Adam LZ has this, why can't you?
Yeah. Maybe 2 million more subscribers or whatever his subscriber count is. I don't know.
But like, I don't mean that in like a bad way, but it's like people will hold me to the same, I guess, standard to that type of content. It's like, man, I can't tell you how badly I would love to make content like that. I've worked hard for that my whole life, but it's like,
Screw you, Adam, for making us have to work harder.
Dude, I love, Adam is so good. Honestly, he has revolutionized so much about the car stuff, which is so funny because he started off BMX. He didn't even do car stuff for a long time. Right. Like when I met him, he had like just bought his Cream S13 and stuff, but I love Adam. He has honestly, ironically, he's motivated me to change a lot of the stuff about the way that I do things. So there was no slight in any case, in any way.
He's been a lot of inspiration for the reason.
He's.
I finally got to meet him at PRI too, which you were wasted, so you probably don't even remember. But that was an experience because, like, I'm not proud of it, but like, I did make some pretty controversial and shitty content about him when I first started this podcast. So like,
but honestly, and I'm not defending that, but I think it's easy to do because I think there's just this disconnect of like that he's not a real human too.
Yeah.
You see somebody on the level of, not even to use him as an example, but anybody that's like, that has that kind of following, whatever you want to say. It's hard to not be so quick to judge. It's really hard for anybody in any case. And so, you could look at TJ, Daily Driven Exotics. I'm trying to think of just like anybody, but like anyone out there, you can make a complaint, you can make bad content, you can make bad comments about anybody. So
yeah, it was just for me, like I didn't want my content to be represented as that.
Sure.
Especially because I want to help people. I don't want to put people down anyway.
Yeah,
I don't care how big you are, how small you are, anything like that. So all right, let's jump on. I want the pinned post that you have on Instagram. I know that relates to a lot of...
Oh, that post. I was like, what?
It's from 2023. So like
I forgot that I had that pinned. I think it's an important message, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit of just not finishing cars and stuff, but why did you, feel the need to put that out on your social accounts? Because personally, I respect the shit out of it that you did that.
Thanks.
But I'm curious.
I have always wanted to hold myself to just being transparent. I like doing that. And I don't, it obviously has positives and negative drawbacks and stuff, but it's not, I think a lot of people have looked at it like, oh, you're being too apologetic, screw the haters, that kind of thing. But it's not that. I like being transparent and like, I don't know, I've learned a lot in the past, especially the past 4 or 5 years. Like I've learned and I've changed so much. And it's not me going out and saying like, guys, I'm so sorry. It's more of like, hey, dude, I want you guys to know that I'm also, like we were just talking about, like I'm human too. I'm still figuring it out, but here's an update on some stuff that I have somehow figured out. And so, yeah, I forgot that I still had that pinned, but I guess it's good because like, I don't know, there's a bunch of things I was just, I wanted to just I don't know. I've always, since the beginning, like I've been super vulnerable about my, you know, the stuff that I go through mentally and all that. And I've tried to use that avenue to sort of, you know, give a more personal aspect to the channel. And so I would say I'm speaking to you more as a friend, you know, than a follower when I make posts like that. It's not, you know, I think it's hard because I mean, there's so many different ways to perceive it, but like, that's really the bottom line. It's, you know, I'm talking to you like you're my friend and here's what's going on. So I want you guys to know. If you don't care, then you don't have to read it, but
it makes it more raw and real.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's good. It takes some big balls to do some shit like that as a creator from what I've seen. So
let's go.
No, seriously, because most people would just pitter patter around it and never even acknowledge it. And then they'll just move on to the next thing and like,
you know, I think
leave everyone unsatisfied.
Yeah,
like,
no, I think it's important to, I think it's a sign of humility. I think it's just, it's good. It's good for me personally to get that off my chest too, because like that's something that I think about all the time. And, you know, so it's not that I'm worried about what people think or I'm worried about what they're going to perceive or whatever. It's more of like, I really want to tell people like, dude, I
hate letting people down.
Not necessarily, but because you're going to do that no matter what. But it's more of just like, I don't know. I really just want to be honest. I want you guys to know that, hey, I've been working on myself a lot. Been working on myself a lot. So, yeah, no, I was, that post was, my wife, I pretty much always like, anytime I post something like that, my wife's always right there to make sure I'm not saying something stupid. But I was just sitting in the living room, I was like, man, like, and usually she'll talk me off the ledge and be like, no, you don't need to post that. And I was like, you know what, this time I really just want to say something. So yeah, I think it was important.
My soul needs it.
Yeah. And I think what's also, I mean, it works this way, or it works out because like, I mean, I think a lot of people like, because of that, like a lot of people stop watching me because I just kind of, I think I just let on too many things too many times, whatever, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. But also because of that, I think a lot of people don't know that I've had such a big shift into trying to like, into drifting, into that kind of stuff. And so it's like, I did also want to make that post to be like, well, I'm going to get rid of these cars, but I want you to know that like I have a change of heart, I have a change of attitude, I have a change of passion now. I have something to pursue at least. And so that was another, you know, that was another thing. So I wanted people to be like, hey, he's going to be, you know, he's going to do it now. So
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in that post, you mentioned how you were being held back a lot. So by not necessarily yourself, but a lot of other people. Yeah. And I know some self-accountability. You took it in the post too. Like that. Obviously, you got to take that, but like, what were these people? What were these issues that were arising?
I don't want to sound whiny or anything, so I don't want to get too into it. But
yeah, you're good. You ain't got to.
I think I sort of lost myself a little bit with the car thing because I was trying to figure it out more as like a business than I was personally, and so like, you know, with giveaways between that and I had shop help at the time. You know, I had some like part-time people working for me. It's like, I would let people work on my cars for me and I wouldn't touch them. And it was like, I didn't care. It's like, just get the stuff done. I'll make content about it when it's done. And so I think that really kind of held me back in a way because now that I'm by myself again. And so I'm doing all this stuff by myself. And now that I'm constantly working on my own cars again, I'm like, I really held myself back because cars are passion projects.
Oh yeah.
And there was no passion in any of my projects because I was just paying somebody to be like, all right, I'm here, I bought these parts, you put them on, I'll make a video about it afterwards, make a reaction. Yeah. And so, and it was a formula that worked for a little while, but I think that was a formula that did not work long term, and it was just not good because like people want to see
they got overplayed too much, not just by you, but
no, yeah, for sure. But I don't think people will ever get tired of people wrenching and people getting frustrated and people doing the real things about cars. But that was one of the things. And then like, I don't know, I kind of sort of put a lot of my dependency on other people, which then in turn kind of, again, my fault, but like kind of came back on me and ended up, I don't want to say, you know, screwing me over or anything like that. But it's like, if I would have just sort of been a little more diligent with what I was doing, you know, a little more passionate or a little more this or that, you know, I probably wouldn't be in this scenario. So it wasn't like necessarily to point to blame anybody. And a lot of people kind of took that the wrong way, but wasn't blaming anybody. But it was that sort of idea that I was using other people to get my stuff done for me. And that's sort of kind of what put me into a weird spot.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's especially I mean, how many subscribers and stuff were you at that point? Like, you weren't really.
What was this? When?
Whenever you did have people hired on.
Oh,
like were you actually raking in anywhere near as much as you would consider now, I guess? Or was it more back then?
So I was making a lot of money back then, because I mean back in when I built, so I had a good thing going, because like, you know, we bought this house, and this was after this is after I had like started doing the eBay Turbo thing. So like that was, you know, channel was popping off. We ended up buying this house because I was outgrowing, my HOA hated me because I had my trailer, my other cars and stuff. So I was like, you know, HOA house. Yeah, don't do it. But that's when I had that, and it was sort of a snowball effect. And so I was like, we bought this house, built the shop, all the stuff, and you found a couple of barn finds, legit barn finds. So it's like constant, you know, just constant bangers. And so it's like, then between that, we had the R35 giveaway that it did do really well. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna sit back and just let somebody else, you know, do my work for me. I'm gonna kick back and have my day's rest.
Yeah, you thought you were kind of buying back your time, but you weren't using that time to improve.
I wouldn't take it back for the world, because there's lessons learned. But yeah, I hate that I did what I did for a couple of years, because I just got so complacent.
Right.
And but yeah, no, I was doing real well, you know. The brand was doing great. I mean, the economy was good too, so it helped. But that's not to get political, but like it was. I mean, that's how our job is, though. It's like that's how our job is. If you're doing well, we're doing well. If you're not, then well, we don't get as much support. You know, other brands aren't, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, no, we're doing well, and I had, you know, a couple employees, and he worked for me for, you know, I think 8 months or something like that. One of the guys. But yeah, so I can't remember exactly what you had asked, but.
Oh, it was, honestly, I don't even remember. Truthfully.
This is my ADD brain, but I was going somewhere with that.
Just being held back from inside that post you were saying.
But again, yeah, I think I did it to myself. And so I think that was the ultimate thing. And I don't know, some people I don't think read the whole thing. And probably, you know, they'll stop there and be like, oh, immediately comment section.
Stop after the second swipe. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I got too complacent, and I kind of figured that I could just sit back on my throne and keep doing the same thing over and over, and then just, you know, keep letting it rake in, whatever. And then, but I'm kind of glad it didn't work out that way, because it brought my passion back, and that's something money can't buy.
Absolutely. Well, I personally noticed a lot of the issues that you were dealing with was this shop. So I know that's probably one thing you're almost tired of dealing with or talking about, for one. But
no, not necessarily, but yeah.
Okay. So I guess, when did the first flood in the shop happen?
As it was being built.
No way. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so the dude that built the shop, he knew the whole time. He was like, he laid the concrete down and then put the walls up, and this was before we did any lifts or anything like that. It was like the second or third. I didn't put this on YouTube or anything like that, but it was before anything had happened. And I woke up the next day, and it was like, this was before there was any insulation, AC, so it just smelled like wet metal building. It was terrible. But I walked in, and I was like, ugh, and it was just water throughout the whole thing. And I had constant pictures. I was sending him, texting. I was like, dude, help. And so it was a long process. So it was. My God.
So, okay, what was the actual issue then? Like, is this side of the land just not?
It's negligence is what it was. Like, it's fixed now. It doesn't flood anymore.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
What did you have to do to fix it?
Dude, so we had an engineer come out this was a couple years ago, year and a half ago. Just did a French drain, and so it's a long story. We don't have to go into it you don't want the time. But the only thing that he did when he built the shop was he put a sump pump in that would suck out the water. There's no French drain. There's no grading around the shop. So if the sump pump couldn't keep up, which it can't, because this is a 3,300 square foot shop, you know, divided by 2, that much water going off at, you know, an inch per hour. It's a lot of water. And so it would just constantly flood there. And so we had somebody come out to do the French drain. We did a French drain. His sump pump that he actually put in stopped working. And so that was a couple times whenever it would get really bad. There was no assistance. It was just coming into the shop. Shit. So, and he wouldn't warranty it. He literally blocked me. He blocked my phone number.
What a scumbag.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So it was definitely an experience. Mm. But once we got, Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. You're good.
I was gonna say, once we got the French drain in, that helped really well. The only other time, well, there's 2 times it flooded after that. So one time, the whole city lost power, and so my sump pump that assists my French drain wasn't working, and so it flooded a good amount. And then what was it? It flooded I think it was like August or something. I can't remember the last time it flooded, but then I was like, okay, took some extra precautions. Now we got like sandbags and stuff around the perimeter. We got some like, there's like specialized flood guard, like perimeter stuff. I got Flex Seal all around the shop. It's like, there's no water getting in this bitch. Possible. No way. But yeah, no, I say that not, knock on wood.
Of course.
It hasn't flooded since. And there's been some pretty crazy, like, if downtown Dallas is flooding, it usually floods here. Downtown Dallas is flooded, and it's been pretty crazy, and it hasn't flooded since. So thank God that stuff has worked.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What were a lot of the damages that you were dealing with when they were flooding?
Well, so the main thing was time, really. So you technically, like, when it floods like that, if water seeps into your lift anchors, you're not supposed to use them for 2 weeks. Yeah. Like Ben Pack was like, put your cars down and you can't use that lift for 2 weeks. They're like, it's not safe. And so it was
Holy
like,
shit,
oh my God.
that.
Yeah. So it was bad there. And it was just like, my pregnant wife with our first daughter, she was 9 months pregnant. She was in here at 1 a.m. sweeping out water. It's like, you can't put a price tag on that. It's like, that sucks.
Man.
But I mean, if she wasn't out here, she'd be so stressed that it'd probably hurt the baby. So it's like, it was, I don't know. And thankfully, like, I still haven't even, you look behind you, like, that's all stuff from the flood that I just haven't gotten around to cleaning up, because it's just like, what if it happens again? I'm going to waste my time, which that sounds bad, but I got tired of it. I think I've probably cleaned,
going through it that many times, I'd do the same boat.
I have moved, those massive shelves behind you. I've moved them several times, cleaned them, and it's like floods again. So it's PTSD now. But it won't flood, but I still just don't feel like cleaning it up. I'm tired of doing it. Yeah. But I'll clean the main floor, and I'll clean like the 2 main bays, but like this one I just haven't touched, because usually, so this storage lift is like the POS, stack. It's like whatever car's on here or below here, probably not going to run for a while. So I just don't even worry about that area.
Oh, that's so funny. Every influencer has that now. They got their storage racks.
Yes, sir. Shout out Ben Pack. We love you.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess you've never had any like car damage or anything from it though. Like nothing got seriously.
There's parts that I couldn't use. There was like, I had like an alternator, battery almost popped. It was on the floor, but like, I shouldn't have had to worry about that, A lot of stuff that shouldn't have happened just happened. So, rust on certain things that, couldn't, buy new. It's stuff on the floor. So I don't know. You can shout at me all day long for leaving stuff around, but it's like, you shouldn't at the end of the day have to deal with that. So
I could only imagine what that was like.
It is what it is, man. It's one of those situations you got to look at it and be like, what did you do? Yeah. You just let it flood and then you clean it up, because I got no other option. So,
well, at least it didn't damage anything like exponentially bad with the structure or anything like that, because I assume they're pressure treated at the bottom.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's probably not a normal conversation for most people. I used to frame houses.
With how this dude built the shop, who knows what he did? He allegedly did it right. So I don't know. Ignorance is bliss at this point, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got it as under control as possible.
It's supplemented, I would say.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess, where do you kind of see the future of your channel now that you've had this, epiphany that you need to change your mindset and how you run things?
I don't know, honestly. It's weird to think that I'm 30 years old and like starting over, it seems like, but I'm not 30 yet, actually. I probably should keep telling myself I'm in my 20s. I'll be 30 this year. TMI, whatever. But I feel like it's been a weird and hard couple years, just because I have been going through so much mentally, and like I couldn't even begin to describe all the stuff that we've, family and me and my mental health and stuff like that. But it's cool because I finally feel like I have like purpose with all of my builds and stuff, and that's again kind of bouncing back to what I have penned. For the longest time, I would just I would build. So like when I started, I got the Miata because I wanted to do HPD. I got my SC300 because I wanted to try drifting, because that was like it was a fad at the time on YouTube. It wasn't like popular yet, but it was like a fad. So I was like, whatever. But like in the interim, I just started buying cars just to build for content, and like with no necessary, like no rhyme or reason. It was just like, oh, let's just Jay-Z swap that. Or let's just do that. Let's make it fast. Whatever. And it got to a point that I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? And so now that I've sort of actually found a core value for my cars to exist, drifting, it's like now I at least have something to work towards. Whether or not I get back to the views that it was, or the people is happy with the build. It's like I'm at least doing something that can make me happy now, that I can enjoy, because I wasn't doing that. There was nothing to enjoy from all the stuff I was doing. I was either giving away the car that I drove a few times, or I was sitting on projects that I just didn't feel like driving. So partially that had to do with my panic disorder, but like that's another long story too. But
well, we don't have to go there. I know that's kind of more personal stuff, so I don't want to.
I'm an open book, so it doesn't matter to me.
Oh, I know, but some stuff I will always say is just there's no point in anyone never knowing. It's not nobody's business.
It's out there, so it's on podcast.
Okay, fair.
So it's all good. Yeah.
Oh, well, if it's on another podcast, you can go watch it there. I don't want to take nobody else's content. So, okay, well, I guess given that you've learned so much over the years, probably it seems like a lot more than a lot of other creators with how much shit you've gone through, whether it's the shop or the cars. Or
I don't want to say that.
The audience. I know you're not going to.
No,
but
don't say that.
Shit. All right. Anyways. Okay. From all the takeaways you have going through your career, if someone was looking to follow down a very similar path as you in content creation, what would be your best advice to them getting started? I
would say, I think the most important thing is to be rooted in something. Like, I think if you're following, or if you're trying to do something, what's the word? Aimlessly.
Yeah.
Or, it's like, you got to have an aim. You got to have a goal. I think you got to have a root reason to be doing something. And so, and like I was just saying, I never had a root until, recently. So it'll happen naturally if you're passionate enough about it. And if you actually have an end goal, if you have a reason you're doing it. But, yeah, you got to make sure you have that. Because if you're not rooted in anything, then nothing's going to grow from it.
I appreciate that. I'll take that advice myself too.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get into the last few questions. So I want to switch this question up a little bit. Usually it's like getting to what parts you should do to get to your first track day, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do it differently. Pick any car that you have in your fleet, and let's say like $3,000 to spend on any of these cars to get it either back to where you want it to be, or to the point where it's supposed to be.
3,000?
Yeah, $3,000. That's it.
Well, it's not even gonna buy me an alternator for the BMW, so I'll look the other way. No, oh shoot. That's kind of what I'm doing with this car, I guess, but
that's a tough one.
I don't. So both ends of the shop are really. I don't think there's anything $3,000 could buy for either of those. But man, I feel like. Actually, no. I feel like probably. That's funny that I'm actually probably going to point to my. Ooh, I forget I have cars out there.
ADHD brain's kicking in.
Yeah, no. I think so. I'll say this. Yeah, my R33. So it's fully built. It's a fully built RB25 with a big turbo and everything, but it's just not been tuned because that's a long story. But I feel like $3,000, I would just get a better ECU for it and figure it out, and just make it enjoyable. But it just sits there. It's just a paperweight.
That's fair.
So
yeah,
probably that car could probably use it, but just the budget's elsewhere at the moment. Yeah. So it just kind of.
Well, that question was a little more complicated than I expected.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Maybe it's the TISM, dude. I don't know. I just gotta think about it.
Let's do it this way then. How about let's do the Pro-Am car.
Okay.
So for the Pro-Am car, if you had, let's say, $20K budget at Enjuku Racing, what are you going online and buying for that car right now?
Ooh, I'm bad at answering these questions. I think about way too much. I'm sorry,
Is there
guys.
a different car you'd rather do?
No, it's gonna be just as bad at any car.
Oh shit.
Dude, I probably just some carbon fiber stuff just to jazz it up a little bit. Because I already got all the powertrain stuff. So
good old Sabon.
Get maybe some just super nice seats. Yeah. Other than that, it's all just a bunch of really expensive piping and wiring that needs to be done to the car at this point. So
that's nuts, dude. Like stuff like that is on a completely different scale than anything.
It's unnecessary, but it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, that's your passion, though. I'm glad it makes sense now. Because now that you figured it all, not figured it all out, but like you have your purpose now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess then let's get your best piece of advice for just anyone getting into drifting in general.
Man, from somebody who has tried and failed so many times, just get something that is insanely reliable that you don't have to. Actually, I'm gonna take it a step back here. Stop planning out a build in your head to drift the car and just go drift the damn car and stop. Like, I feel like people get so caught up on like, I have so many friends. I've known so many people in my life. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get this E46, but I'm gonna LS swap it. Like, bitch, just go drive the car.
Grow up.
Go drive the car. But it's an impulse. So you can't blame them. Like everybody
even say that like people going through their first year of drifting and then immediately wanting to go LS swap their car. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You barely learned how to drive.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Because it's like we have that thing in us. We have that need for speed.
Yep.
You know, but I think it honestly depends. I will say this. I think more people end up just completely leaving the sport after starting to motor swap something than they do just driving their G35 for 7 seasons. It's like, just go get a simple car, get as much seat time as you can. And if you can't afford a simple car, get a sim because it's awesome.
Yeah.
I've
said it like the last 5 podcasts. Don't be me. Don't do it. My only car I took down. I
have done that. I'm speaking from experience too. Like I have gone down all the wrong paths, and just get something simple. Go drive.
It didn't make any sense for me. My car was so perfect. It ran so perfect. I could not blow it up.
That's literally me.
And I'm like, dude, I want to be cool. Let's throw an RB25 in it.
Yep.
You fucking idiot. You should have. And the bad part is now that it's done, I wish it was in a G35 sedan instead.
Yeah.
So the whole time, I could have just kept this either way it was, bought a G35 sedan shell.
It's hard to not be impulsive. It's hard to not be impulsive with car stuff, though.
So hard.
Because there's
especially when you got the attachment problem.
But you have a favorite chassis, and it's like, well, you have so many ideas zooming through your head every day, and it's like at some point one of them's just going to be like, I got to do this.
Yeah. Which actually, my favorite chassis has been sitting in the driveway. Well, I wouldn't say that's my favorite chassis, but sitting in the driveway untouched. It's just an FC. But it's like, I'm not touching that right now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I want to keep that car. Like, and that's my problem. Like the whole build thing. Like I have a vision for it because it's one of those cars that's been a childhood dream of mine. So like that one, I'm fine with letting it sit until I can finally do what I want to it. But like, I don't give a flying fuck about Z's.
Yeah.
I think they're hideous.
Same, but they're amazing.
For some reason, I fell into the trap of doing that build.
Dude. They're so good.
They work amazing.
They're so good.
For some reason, they're so structurally sound.
Dude, I drove my friend's G35 sedan at the track day that we were testing my 330 out, my E46.
Yeah.
It was literally the biggest cheater car I've ever. It felt more like a sim than my sim did.
Yeah. And the Z's drive better than the G's.
I know. Yeah. They're unreal. It sucks that they sound so bad, but man,
it is what it is. Mine sounds fucking gnarly. It sounds gnarly as shit now. But damn, I probably shouldn't have said that. I just choked on it.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to maybe figure out what they want to do, but I think people need to know.
Oh yeah.
If you start that engine swap, the second it goes in that engine stand or the jack stands, it's not coming down for a long time. You're gonna lose interest.
Downhill.
You know, you're gonna lose interest, man.
Yep. Your job's gonna take over. Economy's gonna start going to shit. Which, you know,
don't even get me started, bro. Don't get me started about that.
Do as we say, not as we do. Again. All right. So I guess let's get. If you could speak to the entire world, what message would you have for everyone?
What? Just everybody.
Everybody, entire world.
I would say that it's important to be convicted, but it's also important to love.
Convicted?
Have conviction about something.
Oh, okay,
not like
okay,
a
okay.
convict. Like,
Like
sorry,
some shitty choice of words there.
It's important to have like you can love someone within the confines of your convictions and stuff. And so I think it's important to love.
God damn, that's deep.
A soft dome, dude. I don't know.
I
It's
dig
important
it.
to
Yeah, keep going.
love
You're good.
everybody. Love everybody within the confines of your convictions. But you know, don't gotta agree with everyone. But you can love everyone.
And you don't have to bitch at everything you don't agree with either.
I don't know. I think some people will disagree, dude.
Some people are just keyboard warriors till the day they die.
Armchair quarterback, baby.
Hey.
Rep.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess if you want, do you have any closing words that you want to announce?
No, I don't think so. Should I have had some stuff written down?
No, just
Okay.
if you had something you wanted to announce for the future of your channel or anything that you got coming
I'm
up.
figuring it out, man. I think it's I will say, like, you know, I've gotten into drifting. It's been a really interesting ride getting here. And I'm pretty excited. Like, it's for the first time in a long time, I'm just driven to actually do something. And I don't know, if I had this big hiatus from driving and stuff like that, and it's getting back into the seat. I'm excited, like, in terms of what you're asking, you know, where the channel is going. Like, I have had so much fun drifting, and I think it's given me just so much purpose to be in the garage and just like get pissed off my BMW. I have a reason to do that now. It's amazing. You know, I can't be mad at it because of like, I'm mad at it because I want to drive it so bad.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's
good problems to have.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that I don't know. It's weird to feel like I'm restarting because I feel like I have, but you know, I feel like it's a good spot. You know, I'm going to attempt to get a license regardless whether or not I get it. You know, just do all the shootouts I can and just enjoy grassroots for forevermore, I suppose.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, you want to shout anybody out or anything? Sponsors, anything like that?
My wife. She's
There
the
you
best.
go. Fuck yeah. That's the best shout out you can get. Love you, babe. Okay, so I guess subscribe. Look below the video. Make sure that subscribe button is not still red and hit the bell notification. Of course, don't forget about the bums. Drop that comment. Drop the like. And by the way, season's here. If you are trying to get your media and your social media stuff in check, hit me up. Tell me how I could best help you because that's literally what I do. That's all I got. So we'll see you each and every Sunday for a new episode. Thanks. Peace.